Good morning to everyone. Today we are conducting international webinar on urban farming and mushroom cultivation. Welcome to all national and international participants. And I request Dr. M. Nagalakshmi Devamma to introduce about the webinar.
A very good morning to all the respected speakers. President of this webinar, Professor N. Savitrama Garu, Principal, SPU College of Sciences. Head, Department of Botany, Professor G. Sudashnam Garu, and all the participants from various countries. I am Dr. M. Nagalakshmi Devamma, Associate Professor, Department of Botany, SV University, Tirupati. At first, I am very much privileged to be a part of this webinar. Since the last few years, I am dealing with the mushroom cultivation with the great support of our department. We have conducted several workshops on mushroom cultivation. We trained several students in the university and other universities also. Mushroom is macro fungi. There are two types, edible and poisonous. The popularly cultivated edible mushrooms are button mushrooms, milky mushrooms, oyster mushrooms, paddy mushrooms, and shiitake mushrooms. The important medicinal mushroom is Ganoderma lucidum, which is used to cure cancer. Mushrooms are valuable food. They are low in calories, carbohydrates, rich in fibers, essential amino acids, proteins, vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. They have medicinal properties also. Hence, these mushrooms are used for controlling several diseases like diabetes, heart diseases, and obesity. These mushrooms fight against the infections and balance the immunity. During this COVID pandemic season, we need to improve our immunity. I hope this webinar gives a lot of knowledge to all the participants. Now I request Professor G. Sudashnam Garu to continue with the next session. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, Dr. M. Nagalakshmi Devamma, for giving about the webinar, mushroom culture. And then we are highly thankful to you as Organizing Secretary. You have done well. Hello, once again. Now I request Dr. Vijay to deliver talk on possibilities and challenges in commercial mushroom growing. So he's a freelancer and mushroom development officer, retired for Jammu and Kashmir Union Territory. Welcome, sir.
It's my privilege to be on the panel of speakers in this international webinar on urban farming, mushroom cultivation. I am very pleased to extend my sincere thanks to the Vice Chancellor of Sri Venkateswara University, Tirupati, and Professor G. Sudarsanam, Head of the Botany, for inviting me and giving me a chance to speak in this webinar. Let me introduce myself. I am Mr. Vijay Kao, basically an agriculture graduate, and I had my research and thesis work on mushrooms in my post-graduation course in plant pathology. After a successful journey of 30 plus years of my experience in mushroom trainings, research, and industry, I am presently working as a mushroom grower and an independent consultant for promoting the mushroom industry and helping the mushroom growers and the prospective startup mushroom projects in India for commercial and successful growing of the mushrooms. Now, my topic today is the possibilities and challenges in commercial mushroom growing. As we all know, that mushroom growing has been in vogue for the past 4 decades in India, and throughout the world, it has taken exceptionally the forerunner in the cultivation process and the in the front of the mushroom growing on advanced these industries. And in introduction, I will be detailing about little aspects of mushroom growing, then mushroom cultivation scenario in India and the world, and what are the future possibilities of mushroom growing in India and the possible challenges and strategies. As we all know that urban agriculture is a key solution to the rapid population growth, urbanization, food security, and climate change. The challenges in the traditional agriculture by way of shrinking arable land, the poor soil health conditions, the attack of disease and pests, and the effect of global warming has resulted in the lower economic returns. So over a period of time, there's a paramount importance and the need to shift to the urban farming, and that too in specific areas like mushroom cultivation for sustainable and environment friendly ways of farming. And mushroom farming is one of the areas which befits in this category. As we all know that mushroom is an indoor activity and does not require much of the land, and the vertical space can be utilized for getting more production per unit area. So the effectiveness of recycling of agriculture waste, which is abundantly present in our country, gives a very good potential for this industry to set up. So, and then on the basis of the health benefits of mushroom, let us see that the recent pandemic has thrown a pragmatic shift as far as the health of the individuals is concerned. And the supplements or the food nutrition is one of the primary sources of maintaining good health in a society. So mushrooms, owing to their known benefits of health, can be a boon in the coming times to help in wellness of the general masses, as they can provide many diseases, psychosomatic disease like cholesterol, BP, or sugar can be maintained by eating mushrooms. And it's a good source of protein, very rich in minerals, very rich in iron, and good for the overall health of the people who consume it. The known fact of anti-cancer agents present in the mushrooms is an added advantage to fight such dreaded diseases. And overall, the immunomodulatory functions of the mushrooms is one of the prime factors that can contribute towards its health benefits in general. So mushrooms definitely are going to prove as a health food and a future food for each and every one of us. Now coming to the commercially grown mushrooms in India and the worldwide, the white button mushrooms holds the prime growing mushrooms in the world and in India as well. In India, the white button mushrooms contributes around 73% of the total mushrooms grown, followed by oyster mushrooms, which contributes around 16%, and then paddy straw mushrooms contributing around 7%. And there's a shift of growing to some other kinds of mushrooms like portabella or shiitake, which contributes around 4%. And it is still in the state of infancy in India. While the production of mushrooms has enormously increased worldwide, the major producing countries in the world, as we all know, that China dominates on this scene and produces more mushrooms than the other world leaders. The China has got more production and more consumability, followed by USA, then Germany, and then some European countries. Then India is lagging behind both in production and consumption. India hardly produces 0.18 million tons of mushrooms, and the average growth rate of 4.3% has been achieved from per annum from the year 2010 to 17, and a per capita consumption of meager 30 to 40 grams is observed in India presently. The domestic demand is growing now with the changing times, and there has been a marginal shift of growing of mushrooms in India now as well. As we can see that in the 60s, it started in the state of Himachal Pradesh, and then started spreading to the adjoining states of Punjab, Haryana, J&K. And now, with the pragmatic shift in the past decade, Uttar Pradesh is a leading state in India as far as the production is concerned, and many more production units have established in south like Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Orissa, and other states of India, giving it a wide distribution under all seasonal regions of India with its climatic favorability and the availability of raw materials. So under Indian conditions, the mushrooms are going to be a very important segment of the industry in the coming days to come. So as far as the future possibilities of growing mushrooms in India, till now, we can presume that the full potential of mushroom cultivation has to be unleashed in India, because the cultivation practices have been centered on button mushrooms only, which accounts to the 85% of the total production. Even in the button mushrooms, the much of the needed things have not been established, and no proper ways of technology management or the project management has been established till now. Then secondly, we can see that there's a scope of raising the per capita consumption from a meager 30 to 40 grams to the higher levels, thus initiating the production as well as the consumption levels in Indian conditions. Then as far as India is concerned, we can propagate mushroom as a protein-rich food, as a pure vegetarian protein-rich food, and that can substitute in bringing the gap of protein malnutrition to a large sections of the society. This protein is of very high quality protein, and this can be often very important thing in bridging the malnutrition of the countries like India and other nations as well. So on that front, there is a future possibility of getting the protein-rich diet from such mushroom crops. Then there is a need for establishing R&D centers for mushroom technology suited to Indian conditions. Till now, the technologies have been adopted and used in the other developed countries, and India is just gaining access to such technologies or modifying it to its own environmental and the economical conditions. But now we need to have an R&D centers in India wherein the technologies can be assessed and they can be put to the optimum use under our own conditions, both in terms of their suitability and the economic conditions. Then mushrooms can provide a future of wellness and health food also, as we have discussed that there's an array of food elements that are present, food elements that are present in the mushrooms, which can benefit our health, and so many pharmaceutical nutrients are also available in mushrooms, which can cater to our health and wellness. Then, along with the domestic market, which still India needs to develop on a priority basis, there is a need to compete with the export market also, as the Indian mushrooms can find a place in the export for earning a value of export and the foreign reserves as well. And this is the possibilities of the mushroom growing can now be seen from the view of the employment generation and the revenue generation as well, because new array of employment generation, both in rural and the urban areas, can be seen from this highly sustainable and a very economical activity of agro business. Now coming to the challenges and the strategies. In India, frankly speaking, this sector has not been so organized till now, and the inconsistent supply of raw materials, maybe for composting or in respect of span or casing materials, have not been achieved till now. The inconsistent supply of raw material affects the production capacities and the production technologies for optimum results. So this sector needs to be organized so that the input supplies like raw materials like composting, like wheat straw or poultry manure or the gypsum, so many things can be supplied both in respect of their quality parameters and the quantity parameters. Then secondly, we can see that since mushroom is an indoor activity and all the environmental parameters have to be modified to our best, so high project costs are throwing a very challenging challenges in the present times. Now, the infrastructural cost, the cost of machinery and equipments, the raw material costs, the labor, and the running costs are really a challenge in the industry, and which needs to have the different strategies at different levels to cope up with such high cost values. Then most important in mushroom industry is the lack of trained manpower and mushroom pickers. Training and the trained man staff is very important for any industry to survive. Since mushroom industry is still not in the advanced stage of growth in India, we have a lack of trained manpower to handle many mushroom farms in India, and especially the picking of mushrooms. Picking of fresh mushrooms is a big challenge. Even in the most developing countries in USA and European countries, the mushroom pickers are given due weightage, because the mushroom picking is a very laborious job, and it is also a technical job. If there's a organized mushroom picking, both the quality and the quantity of mushrooms is achieved to a maximum level, and the success of the farms depends upon such strategies. Then low biological efficiencies obtained in present setup. Whatever kind of composting facility, the growing standards, and the management technologies are available in India, there is a low biological efficiency as 18 to 20% of the compost is achieved. While in the other countries, the very high biological efficiencies ranging from 25 to 35% have been achieved by technology management and the process management. So the economics on account of the low yield values or the biological efficiencies has to be is a major challenge in the setup of the such industries. Then high perishability and lack of value addition. As we know that mushrooms are very highly perishable and almost with negligible storage life or the shelf life. So under Indian conditions, where the temperatures from March onwards till September, October are not favorable for the marketing of the mushrooms. So we have to seek certain value additions for effective marketing and additional support of the mushrooms to see that there's a regulated market and even the product fetches a good value under all conditions of production. So domestic market channels need have an adequate price support because demand and supplies in the market are very detrimental to the mushroom growing industry. Then last and foremost is the uninterrupted power supply and high tariff cost. As we all know that mushroom is a environmental controlled activity and a lot of power is needed to run the machinery, plant, equipment and the air conditioning systems for maintenance of favorable environmental conditions in hot months of the summer or even in the winters. For that, the uninterrupted power supply is a challenging factor, and the usage of electricity on the high tariff costs adds up to the burden of the industry as well. So the guarantee of the uninterrupted power or the good power supplies needs to be ensured for thriving of such industry, and of course the high power tariffs needs to be seen that how it will benefit the this industry for such kinds of things in the future. So coming to the challenges and strategies, as we know that India's share in global market trade is minimal, and we are not able to produce even the production up to our levels of usage. So even we cannot export the mushrooms to the other countries of the world. So coordinated efforts among research and development establishments are required to standardize technologies for adoption. Technologies will give a thrust to the growing and coming of more industries, and we can guarantee more mushroom productivity with all quality parameters so that our local markets are sufficient and we have an option for the exports as well. Then technology advancement in mushroom composting for enhanced biological efficiency. As we know that compost is of paramount importance in the production of mushrooms, and the technology related to the composting process is also very important. A very selective and high nutritive value compost determines the best efficiency of the mushrooms. So we need to have technologies which will give us the process management for mushrooms to guarantee a good biological efficiency in the long run. And then most important is that the standardization of plant and machine and cost effectiveness. all the machineries and the equipments used in the commercial mushroom industry standardized and as per the requirements of the Indian conditions and their cost effectiveness. So we should have always this thing in mind that the local machine plant and machinery can suffice better our own Indian conditions, because their after sales services and their efficiency can be guaranteed under own Indian conditions. Then the important is that the improvements in the production technologies of oyster and shiitake mushroom cultivation. Apart from the vast chunk of button mushroom growing, white button mushroom growing, there's a remarkable field in oyster mushrooms and shiitake mushroom cultivation as well. And previously, oysters or the shiitake mushroom were growing on the logs, and now it has come to the synthetic small bottles or the logs, which has reduced the growing process and given a very consistent and a more yield parameters in such mushrooms. Then diversity in the vast potential of growing herbal health mushrooms. Herbal health mushrooms like Ganoderma, Cordyceps, lion's mane, and the chaga mushrooms are the other opportunities which have got good herbal health benefits, and they need to have given a due value in our this cultivation process as well. Then scope of pharmaceutical purposes, the mushrooms have got some scope for the pharmaceutical purposes, that certain pharmaceutical ingredients can be achieved through, by mushrooms, and this will give an immense opportunities in the global trade as well. Then on the other fronts, that India needs to adopt high yielding and genetically enhanced varieties in spawn production. Then spawn production is one of the vital areas in mushroom, technical mushroom growing. And we need to have this quality spawn with genetically enhanced varieties, which will ensure a very good yielding capacity under our all Indian conditions and setups. The innovative solutions are required to address the challenges in processing and packaging of mushroom with efficient logistics support. So what I mean to say that innovative solutions in processing, because processing or the post-harvest of mushrooms is very important, because the fresh mushrooms, their logistics supports, packaging, all will contribute towards an efficient way of transporting the mushrooms to the consumer and with all quality parameters. So it is very important that whatever the process parameters or add-on values in the processings and the packagings for efficient marketing of the mushrooms has to be achieved, and all logistics supports have to be provided for better this marketing facilities. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Vijay, for briefing us possibilities of challenges in commercial mushroom growing. And then this will be helping a lot of youngsters for planning their commercial mushroom growing. And definitely your talk will be inspiring most of the youngsters. Thank you. Our next speaker, Dr. Hendri Bustamam, Associate Professor, Department of Plant Production, Faculty of Agriculture, University of Bengkulu, Indonesia. He's going to talk about mushroom cultivation in coastal areas. Welcome, sir.
Good morning, everybody. I am Hendri Bustamam from University of Bengkulu. Firstly, I would like to express my special thanks to Professor Sudarsanan, who has invited me to share my knowledge and my experience in a webinar in this session. My topic is mushroom cultivation in coastal area. Potency of Bengkulu province, related to mushroom cultivation. Bengkulu province stay in coastal area along 524 kilometers. Temperature between 24 until 31 degrees Celsius and humidity 78% is good and suitable for mushroom growing. And we have a potency of sawdust around 3,000 tons per year. It can grow and produce mushroom 1 ton a day. And we have population in 2020 around more than 2 million people. It means need 144.274 kilogram mushroom a day. Another potency, we have the potential for production raw material is sufficient, like sawdust and rice bran. And two, increase demand for fresh and processed mushroom. And cultivation land and facilities can be built. And cultivating and processing technology available here. Okay. What is the problem of mushroom cultivation in here? We list the some problem. The first, the number of mushroom cultivation business is still small. Only 12 business unit of mushroom in this province. And second, limited production quantity, only 500 kilo a day. And productivity is not as high as other area. Example, we have productivity only 10 kilogram a day per 1,000 backlog. And last, maybe we have less promotion. Based on this, actually we have big potential to develop the mushroom business. Type of mushroom that can be cultivated in coastal area, we have described some mushroom. Each mushroom we divide into media for planting, wood husk and wood. We can grow oyster mushroom, shiitake mushroom, lindsay mushroom, and monkey ear mushroom. And we use media rice straw for planting. We can grow straw mushroom, button mushroom, and portable mushroom. You can show in the picture the some oyster mushroom we can grow, the red, white, gray, pinky, and yellow oyster mushroom. And you can also, the lindsay mushroom, we can grow using the sawdust. Monkey ear mushroom, this potential business here because the people need a lot of monkey ear mushroom daily. Shiitake mushroom is special for restaurant needed. And other mushroom, we also can grow straw mushroom, button mushroom, and portabella mushroom. In business on mushroom, we can do various business. We divide into 4 business. First is cultivation and production of fresh mushroom. Second, starter or seed production. 3, backlog production. And 4, mushroom processing industry. You can see in the picture, in Bengkulu, the farmers sell the fresh mushroom around $2 1 kilo. And production of mushroom backlog. One backlog is priced around $2 until $2.50. And production of starter, we sell 1 bottle of starter around $1. And industry of processing of mushroom like crunchy mushroom, fried mushroom, and another to make the industry of mushroom. In production of mushroom, yeah, we can start from produce the starter F1, and then next starter F2, starter F3, and last is backlog. Yeah, backlog. Yeah. For making starter F1, we need some equipment like autoclave, encase, inoculation tool, test tube, petri dish, and incubation cell. Yeah. Then material from pressed mushroom and potato agar medium. Yeah. Potato dextro agar medium. We can produce the starter F1 like in test tube like that. Okay. We use encase, yeah, for inoculation process. Okay. How to make F1 starter here? Yeah, we use the PDR media is cooked. Yeah, put into 15 milliliter test tube as much as 5 milli PDR per tube, and then we sterilize in autoclave 100 until 125 degrees Celsius for 15 minutes. Then we leave cool in a fetal position. Yeah. And mushroom are washed and then soaked in 70% alcohol for 30 seconds, rinse with sterile water and dry on filter paper. Then we cut the leg of mushroom using the scissor of sterile knife, measuring 1 centimeter, 1 millimeter, and 1 millimeter. One piece of mushroom is planted on a bigger side. Then we incubate for 7 days. And then F2 starter. For making F2 starter, we need equipment like sterilized clear bottle, rubber rope, plastic bag, carton, and autoclave. Okay, this the recipe like that. And we need some material, yeah, for making F2 starter. For grow media, we use sawdust as much as 81%, rice bran as much as 50%, milk corn 2%, and calcium carbonate as 2%. Example, if we make 100 kilo of starter, we need 1 kilogram of sawdust, 50 kilogram of fine bran, 2 kilogram of lime or calcium carbonate, and sufficient water, 30 liter, and 2 kilo of millet corn. And we need F1 starter as inoculant. Procedure to make F2 starter, all ingredients are mixed evenly. Then we fermented for 2 days, and then we put in clay bottle and compact it. The surface of growing medium was punched with a wooden stick 3 centimeter deep and 1 centimeter in diameter. Plug the bottle cap with cotton, plastic cap, and tie it with rubber. Sterilize with autoclave at 100 until 125 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes. Then we leave for 24 hours until cool, and then we inoculate with a slice of F1 starter. Then we incubate for 20 until 30 days. Yeah. And then we go to mushroom cultivation. Yeah. The outline for mushroom cultivation, we start from preparing equipment and material. Then we install of mushroom house or rack and mix of material. Maybe we need 30 minutes. And method of backlog, we need half day for 2000 backlog, and sterilization 3 until 6 hours. And then we let it cool, and then we inoculate with F2 starter, and then we incubate for 30 days. After 30 days, we move to mushroom house and we keep there, and we can harvest after a 9 day. For production of mushroom backlog, we need material and equipment. The material for making backlog, 81% of sawdust and 50% of rice bran, 1.5% of calcium carbonate, 0.5% of gypsum powder, and 2% of millet corn. Example, we make 100 kilo of grow media. We need 81 kilo of sawdust, 50 kilo of fine bran, 1.5 kilo of calcium carbonate, 0.5 kilo of gypsum powder, and 2 kilo of millet corn, and 40 liter of water. From this media, we can produce 140 backlog. Each backlog weight of 1.2 kilogram. Equipment, we need heat resistant, heat resistant plastic bag, size 70 point 35 centimeter with 6 millimeter thick. Ring, we can use ring from paralon, special ring, or from bamboo. Then we need a rubber bracelet and steamer drum, or sterilization equipment. The procedure to make backlog here, all the ingredients are mixed together, and then we add water until the media can be cleansed into a fish, around 40 liter for 100 kilo of media. Put in plastic bag and compress. Put on the ring. The whole are clogged with cotton and coupled with plastic and tied with rubber. Sterilize with hot steam for 5 until 8 hours. And then we let it cool or refrigerate 24 hours. Tomorrow, we inoculate with a teaspoon of F2 or F3 starter. Then we incubate for 7 until 40 days. The backlog will be overgrown with the white mushroom mycelium. Then this condition, the backlog is ready to sell or keep. For cultivation as mushroom, we need the material sawdust, 85% until 90%, rice bran 10 until 15%, lime or calcium carbonate 2%, and additional water around 50 until 70% moisture content. And we need also F2 or 3 starter as inoculant. And best equipment, we need a sterilization room, mushroom house, and a plastic bag. Plastic bag. And material for making backlog, we need 81% sawdust, 15% rice bran, 1.5% of calcium carbonate, 2% milk corn. Example, for 100 kilo of growth media, we need 81 kilogram of sawdust, 15 kilogram of fine bran, 2 kilogram of calcium carbonate, 2 kilogram of millet corn, and 30 liter of water. You can show the simple mushroom house here. The farmer make mushroom using the bamboo wall. Bamboo wall. And right also, they can use bamboo, wood, or aluminum cake. Then for cultivation, cultivation is advance of backlog production. After the incubation process is complete, move the backlog into the mushroom house. After the mushroom mycelium fill in the backlog, mark all white backlog, open the paper, cover on the ring. Yeah. The mushroom are watered 2 times a day by spraying or watering the backlog body. Usually the fungus will grow 9 days later. Pull out the mushroom and the rod, then make a 2 centimeter long tear on the other side of the backlog. The fungus will grow again 9 days later. Next, make another 2 centimeter tear on the other side, and so on. Tear it up to 5 times. Harvested mushroom are cut off the root, then packed into plastic bag. It's ready to be marketed. Mushroom will regularly grow alternately. Its backlog can be made of 4 until 5 threads. One backlog can produce mushroom as much as 4 until 5 times, or the equivalent of 700 grams per backlog. Yeah, you can show the picture how to process. We mix the material, fermentation, sterilization, inoculation, and then keep, and then we can harvest like this. Yeah. For mix material, we can use the manual hand, or the machine, the machine for mixing the material. And then we fermentation today, and then we put the material into plastic bag for make backlog using hand, or we can use some equipment or machine like this. And then we sterilization. We sterilize using the steam room like this. Simple. Or sterilizing using sterilization box for big backlog. Then we let it go, and we inoculate with the F2 or F3 starter like this. And then we incubate for 30 days, until the mycelium grow over the backlog. And then backlog we move to the mushroom house, and we keep until 9 days like this. We keep like this. Okay. And then after open 9 days, we can harvest the mushroom like this. Okay. In business analysis of mushroom, if we can make a production of 2,000 backlog a week, we need the fixed cost capital, fixed cost around $333, and variable cost $226, and then we can get income $400 with benefit $173, or benefit amount around almost $700. And we cultivate 10,000 backlog for 2 months. We can need fixed cost around $666, and we can get benefit around $3,600 a month. Conclusion: mushroom cultivation is potential business in coastal area of Bengkulu. Mushroom business yielded good benefit, both of income and social. Thank you for attention, and best regard from University of Bengkulu.
Our next speaker is Professor Dr. V. Prakasam, founder and chairman of Mushroom Foundation of India, Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu. He is going to give us value-added products of mushrooms, a new avenue for homemakers. Welcome, sir.
Very good morning to all the participants. I'm very happy to invite you to join this international webinar organized by the Venkateswara University. First of all, I want to thank the group, especially Dr. Bustamam and his young talented group for making this webinar in a very vibrant way. And also thank the authorities of the Venkateswara University for giving me a chance to share some of my knowledges on the mushroom industry. Yes, I am a retired professor and head of the Department of Plant Pathology and started this Mushroom Foundation of India to share with the mushroom farmers at a free consultancy basis. So I used to go and advise them and start in a large way. So in the today's session, I'm going to give some important aspects of the value-added products of mushroom. Before really going to the real picture, for the youngsters and the homemakers who are all new to this field, just I want to say what is mushroom and what are type of mushrooms very popularly grown in India. So mushrooms are a fruiting body, just like our fruits, it is a fruiting body of the fungi, which belong to a particular group of division, basically make it, simply it is called as a bestiocor. Single way to define is a bestiocor. See, before to the fungal kingdom, previously the fungi were put under the plant kingdom. Now it is put under a separate kingdom of mycota. See, every day new fungi or species or subspecies are getting added. As on date, more than 2.5 lakh fungi are there in the kingdom. And majority are causing the plant pathogens. Diseases, they cause plant diseases in the crops. And among them, around 30,000 fungi they consider as edible, which can be used as a food. But all can't be taken, some are available in nature. But throughout the global level, we developed the technology for around 300 fungi. And many are not accepted as a food because of so many minus points. And 100 fungi are rated as a food. Then we perfected the technology for around fungi. 20 fungi have a well developed technology to grow under artificial conditions. And 12 are commercially cultivated at global level. And 6 are in large way cultivation in throughout the world. In Indian conditions, we concentrate on 4 fungi. These are the global status. The butter mushroom ranks, followed by sheet egg mushroom, then oyster mushroom, juicer mushroom, Pradesh mushroom, and milky mushroom. Coming to the Indian rank, butter mushroom as usual, it is ranking first, oyster mushroom second ranking, and Pradesh mushroom fourth, third, and milky mushroom very specific to Tamil Nadu. It was developed in Tamil Nadu state, and now it spreads through other states, especially southern states of India. It is very popular. And these 4 are the very commercially grown mushroom in India. And these are all are edible for value addition. If we take butter mushroom, it is used for all products. Similarly, oyster, milky, and butter, Pradesh mushroom all can be used. So just some of the visuals. These are the oyster mushrooms, very popularly grown in Tamil Nadu. These are the milky mushroom, very peculiar to Tamil Nadu. We developed 2 genera for the commercial cultivation, Kalasaibi and the Taikulama. These 2 are very popular. And from Tamil Nadu, it moved to other states, especially southern states, and also now it's moving to northern states also. This is a way how to grow the milky mushroom. Oh, these are the close-up view of the milky mushroom. Very pure, white, milky structure which have more shelf life and more fibrous content. So it's very suitable for candies and also for pickles and also for other preparations. This is a close-up view of the milky mushroom. Butter mushroom, you know, it's a very common mushroom available throughout India. Oh, this is a very specific mushroom, Padista mushroom, the so-called Chinese mushrooms, cultivated in Malaysia. It is very tastiest in the world, very tastiest. But minus points are very shelf life is very, very poor. It's only few hours, but very tastiest mushroom. But the technology was first developed by TNA, Tamil Nadu University, in 1940s as agriculture college. But it was not popularized in Tamil Nadu because of the minus points of shelf life and low yield potential. But however, in India, the state of Odisha, they popularized it, but almost more than 10,000 farmers are growing this Padista mushroom in Odisha. And you can see every street corners, you can see mushrooms sold in the evening hours. Oh, come to the real subject of this today's talk, mushroom variation. What is the need to develop a mushroom value addition in mushroom? See, the mushrooms are highly perishable. Almost all mushrooms have more than 80% moisture. Definitely, some are having more than 90%, especially take Padista mushroom like that. Because shelf life is always, if it is harvested in the correct stage, but butter mushroom can be stored for 3, 4 days, and oyster mushroom 2 to 3 days. Milky mushrooms up to 1 week period, 6 to 7 days, and Padista mushroom only a few hours. So, in the case of the lean, when there is a heavy potential yield, the fresh mushroom cannot be sold out. And it can be made as a value-added product. Moreover, nowadays consumer preferences for very new products instead of fresh mushrooms. If it is value-added form, it is available in containers or packages or bottles. It is can be easily picked up by the customers in the malls, supermarkets, or from the home field preparations or self-help group farmers. Mushroom farmers themselves develop some of the products. Then it has a wide marketing channel. In addition to our malls and everything, we have the online marketing, Reliance groups or the mushroom marketing, other areas. It can be easily grown. And the extended marketing season, so you can extend the life of the product. So if we take the mushroom soup powder, it can be sold up to 6 months, mushroom pickle 6 months, like that, mushroom candies, mushroom murabba, mushroom like that can be added 3, 4 months, 6 months, some it can be even stored up to 6 1 year. So it can be stored. When there is a demand, it can be released out. So what are the common products we had? So some of the products we developed with the fresh mushroom. So I'm not going to touch much on the recipes. Many of the homemakers have many recipes, but I'm going to give some hints or tips on some of the products which can be easily prepared by the home scale. The home scale homemakers can make some money, additional income, secondary income from the, in addition to their own income, they can get the additional income by making some home scale preparation of the product. Especially mushroom pickles is a choice, first choice. They can also go with jams and sausages, candies, chips, another important one. These are the 5 or 6 items which can be easily made at a home scale without any advanced machineries. There is no need for the machinery. So, some mushroom pickles, these are the ingredients. So, many of the homemakers, they know how to prepare pickles. And these are all the ingredients. So, the mushroom, then onion, ginger, garlics, and all these are substrate, mustard oil, salt, turmeric powder, chili powder to add value to the spicy nature, cumin powder, jaggery to make it as a seed, vinegar as a preservative, and mushroom seeds. So mushroom The oils and mushroom chips are very important ingredients which make the mushrooms more tastable. So how to prepare? So the mushroom should be washed. So it has to be washed with a 5.5% KMS, potassium metabasic solution, and blanching it for another 5 minutes. Then wash the blanched mushrooms in cold water and make it in small pieces. And another saltation is another important process in which mushrooms are kept under with the salt for overnight. Normally, they add 20 gram of salt to 1 kg of mushroom, mix it well, put it in a container, keep it in the fridge overnight or in the open field also, open room also. Take out the drain the excess water and dry in the shade or sun dry for 3 hours. Then simultaneously, you can cut ginger and onion and garlic in small fine pieces and grind the mushroom seeds coarsely and put on a pan. Heat the mushroom oil and fry the mushrooms to half cooked level. Fry the onion, ginger, and garlic till right brown, and add the fried mushroom to the pan and add jaggery powder as well as jaggery solution and vinegar. Add mustard powder, chili powder, and add various spices. Mix well. After that, take it out, put it in a tray. It is keep it at sun for 2 to 3 days. Then after that, you can keep it in a tight container. Storage period up to 1 year. These are the mushroom pickles made out of the butter mushroom. These are the mushrooms made out of the oyster mushroom. So oyster mushroom pickles also is one of the mushroom grown in Tamil Nadu. We commercialize it. Almost easy home skill preparation, and it makes this a very attractive labels and generally pickles from Coimbatore district. And another mushroom grown Vijay mushrooms and then Chalam district, nearby district of Coimbatore. They also wish Vijay mushroom develop. This is all the mushroom choice. It is added value to the mushroom when there is excess production. They make it as a value-added product. Mushroom chips is another important choice for the homemakers. So mushroom can be washed with the cold water, slice it, again blanch in 2% band solution, salt solution. Then dip the mushrooms by adding the 0.1% citric acid, 0.1%, 1.5% sodium chloride. It is salt, common salt, and red chili powder. Then the solution dry and have it dryer at 60% for 8 hours. Then put it on a pan, refined oil, spicy powder, store in a polypropylene packet and stored for almost 6 months. It can shelf life is almost 6 months. So these are the chips made out of the oyster mushroom. So oyster mushroom, because of the very succulent and fleshy and very leaf-like structure, it can be made easily when compared to butter mushroom, milky mushroom, and other mushroom. So oyster mushroom chips are very easily made, prepared at home scale, and it can be sold out. Then mushroom preserve, that is, it is called murabba. It's also prepared at home scale and can be stored up to 6 months. So mushroom can be again washed in the 0.5% KMS solution and blanch it for 5 minutes in 80 degrees Celsius. Then wash in cold water 2 to 3 times and cut it into small pieces. And it is so sugar bricks solution is important, wherein you can use to preserve it, make it as a murabba. So, but first you have to prepare the 50% brick solution and keep the overnight in the fridge. Then say take it out, drain the excess solution, add 0.1% citric acid, and add sufficient sugar and heat to attain 80% brick solution. You can keep it for overnight and fridge. Take it out, repeat the process to raise the sugar content to 70% bricks. Then dip the mushrooms into it for a week period. Drain the sugar syrup and fill it in airtight containers with a freshly prepared sugar syrup of 68% bricks. So it can be stored up to 6 months without any, it should be kept in a airtight container. This is a mushroom preserve, burraba. The final stage of preparation, it can be added to the sugar solutions and it kept in the airtight containers. Mushroom candy. So the process is very simple. It processes a set of the mushroom preserve preparation. Finally, one important stage, it should be impregnated in the higher concentration of the sugar syrup, that is 75% bricks. In the case of the mushroom raba, it is prepared with 60% sugar bricks. So in this case, add the mushroom into 75% brick solution, dry partially under shade to attain the chewable consistency and make it in a, store it in a airtight container. It can be kept up to 6 months. So these are the attractive mushroom candy made out of the butter mushrooms. So butter mushroom and the milky mushrooms, because a high fiber content and also with a somewhat tough fruiting body, they are highly suitable for making mushroom candy. Then jam. Jam is another important homemade preparation, highly prepared by the homemakers. So here we have to have some preparations to before making jam. Mushrooms are put it in a container and it is kept in the overnight with the water, mixing with the water. Then again it can be preserved, can be put it into a saucepan and boil it till to cook, make it softening. Then strain the water and put back into the stove and bring this boiling again, cook it, stirring, avoid scorching. Scorching shouldn't be overcooked. When the pan water comes to thinner than the jam consistency, add sugar and lemon juice. Lower the heat, put it in the flame in the sim, go on stir till the sugar gets dissolved. When the sugar is dissolved, bring to the boil and cook, stirring all the time. Otherwise, it should be get scorched. So then when the drop, then take the small drop of this solution, put it on a cold surface. When it sets, it is ready. The mushrooms jam is ready. So it can be stored in a sterilized airtight bottles or containers or the pouches. It can be kept for almost 6 months. These are the mushroom jam. Then mushroom sausages is important. It is also prepared with a fresh mushroom. The mushroom can be washed with a 0.5% potassium metabisulfate and make it in small pieces and cook to soft with salt. Add salt and cook it in a pan or a cooker. Then add 5% saturated fat. In addition, add the binding agents like you can add soya protein or casein, milk casein powder or xanthan gums like xanthan gums and mix thoroughly and shape it to taste. It may be mostly as a round shaped ones or a cylindrical or oval shaped and it can be shade dried and it can be stored in the containers, packed containers, packs, containers. These are all the mushroom sausages made out of the, so all mushrooms can be suitable for making mushroom sausages. Coming to the dry products, so the dry mushrooms are an important source for the other dry-based products in the mushroom. So the mushrooms can be dried either in solar dryers or in the cabinet dryers. So it is better to have it in the solar dryers where the contamination process is very less. And also we can maintain the original color of the mushroom and also taste is maintained and also it is free of dust and dirt and animal and bird droppings. It can be kept for 6 hours in a solar dryer. If it is in the cabinet dryer, it can be dried at 50 to 60% degree Celsius for 5 to 6 hours. So the final moisture content should be around 8%. The dried mushroom can be stored in air-packed containers, pouches, or sealed polypropylene sheets up to 1 year. Otherwise, it get easily get contaminated and get spoiled because of the external contamination, fungi like Aspergillus, Penicillium, and other fungi. So these are the one of the mushroom grower. They specially prepare these mushroom, dried mushrooms. So it can be packed like this and sealed in a polypropylene bags and can be stored for more than a year. So mushroom can be, the dried mushroom can be ground in a pulverizer to make it as a powder to pass through the 0.5 mm sieve. So again, it is packed as a set of mushroom, dried mushrooms in a airtight packages in the bottles or the polypropylene bags. It also kept for more than a year. These are one of the mushroom grower package wherein we sell it as a mushroom powder. So mushroom powder can be, dry mushroom can be used as a best source for the mushroom soup powder. So mushroom soups are an important choice of the homemakers, not only homemakers, any consumers, wherever they go, they prepare the soups as a starter. So mushroom soup is another important factor, especially in homes. It can be easily made in the home scale. So the ingredients are the dried mushroom powder. These are about 1 kg of the soup powder. These are all the ingredients. So mushroom dry powder around 200 gram and milk powder can be added 250 gram. Corn flour can be added 400 gram. Salt, sugar, black pepper to make it spicy, oregano to add value and flavor. Mix all the ingredients and store in airtight container and packaging. It can be good for 3 months. So whenever it is needed, it can be mixed with the four types of water, and it is just put it in a sieve, allowed to boil, and serve with in bowls. It can be the mushroom soup powder can be kept for 3 months. This is a way how to can store the mushroom soup powder. So mushroom nuggets is another important choice of other people, not only in India and other throughout the global level. So here we have to mix a dry mushroom powder with a black gram dal, the wood dal, black gram powder with 1:8 ratio. And make it as a paste by adding a sufficient quantity of water. It may be warm water or cold water, make it as a paste. Add salt at the 2% level. Then again, add red chili powder, 1% level. Mix well, allow to dry for some time. Prepare as a round balls of 2 to 4 centimeter dia. It should be dry and shut dry. Put it on a drying drum or a cabinet dryer or any drying drum by cabinets, and you can cook it in the sun, under sun for almost a day, and take it out and put it in an air container. And whenever it is needed, it can be fried and decorated, and it can be served to the consumers. These are nuggets. And puppets. Puppets are another important choice of the homemakers. It can be easily made. It doesn't need any extra processes. It can be easily made at the homes with less cost and with labor. So wash the mushrooms as in other cases with the KMS solution. Again, it is blanching is important. So blanching in the hot water removes many of the surface contaminations. Then later it is dipped in the cold water. Then drain the waters and again it made it into small pieces and make them as a paste in a mixer grinder. So in the meanwhile, you can boil the potatoes and peel the potatoes and the skin and make it as a paste. So potato paste is ready. Then this mushroom paste is also ready. Then mix in 1:1 proportion, that is 50-50. Blend the potato paste with the mushroom paste at a 50% 50-50 ratio. Add salt to the taste, chili powder to the spice, cumin powder, black pepper powder as per taste, and also add the KMS powder, 0.03%, that is 300 ppm level. Allow to cool for some time, and spread the peppered butter on a polythene sheet, the drying tray in round shape. Mostly puppets are made in round shape, made with a uniform thickness. Keep the dry under the sun or a dry dryer at 50 degrees Celsius for 5 to 6 hours. Reduce the moisture content to 5% level. That is more important. The moisture content of the puppet should be around 5%. Otherwise, it easily get contaminated with the other external sources. So, after sun drying or cabin drying, peel off the dried puppets and pack it in polythene packs in rows and store in a cool, dry place. And whenever it is needed, it can be taken out and fried in oil and served to the consumers. These are the home scale mushroom puppets made with easy. Then another we have the fortified corn extracts. So the mushroom can be mixed at the rate of 10% to 20% of the paste of the extruders, and it can be used in the single screw or driven screw extruders to make it as a extrudates. This is a mushroom fortified corn extruders made out with a mushroom powder. And fortified cakes. So cakes are another important choice of the homemakers. It can be easily prepared in the homes with less cost. Doesn't need any even it doesn't need any ovens, OTGs, oven TG, OTGs, or even the micro oven. The home made pans can be used to prepare the low cost mushroom cakes. So here we have to mix 10 or 20% dry mushroom powder with the wheat flour. And the process of the making cake remains a set of other mushroom cakes, other cakes. So these are the ingredients needed for the mushroom cakes: wheat plus mushroom flour, 3 cups, milk, 1%, or sorry, 1/2 cup, egg, 3 or 4, sugar, 2 cups, vanilla essence, 2 teaspoons, baking powder, 2 to 3 spoons, tablespoons, butter, 2 to 1 teaspoons. So the first process, you have to mix egg, sugar, and vanilla essence in a blender and beat the mixture thoroughly. The second stage, you mix the flour, baking powder, and molten butter. Then add the blended egg to the flour mix and beat well in a bowl. Then fill it in the aluminum bowl and put over a homemade pan. So how to prepare the homemade pan? So the mud pot can be easily used. Take a mud pot, wash it, dry it in the sun. Take sand, ordinary sand, wash it thoroughly to remove all the dirt, dust, and everything. Dry it. Put the 1 inch of the washed sand to the mud pot. Then it is ready. So the homemade oven is ready. Put it on a flame. Heat it. When it is become hot, set the lid of the pot and put this aluminum foil over a stand in a that mud pot oven. Put it in a mid-range flame in the oven around 40 minutes and take the mushroom or the cake out. It is ready. It's very flavored cake is ready and pack it or store it in a container. This is a mushroom fortified cake. So it can be stored as such. It can be stored as such and cut into small pieces and stored in a fridge. Noodles. Noodles are an important choice of the homemakers, not only homemakers, all consumers. So mushrooms powder, soup powder, this dry powder can be easily fortified to make mushroom noodles. So normally 4% dry mushroom powder is made as a noodles. So it can be mixed with a noodle stuff. How to prepare fortified noodles? Mix a dry mushroom powder to wheat flour. Add to salt. Add salt to the taste and spices. Normally they add chili powder and also cumin or even some oregano or thing. Make it as a tough with sufficient water. Fill the top in a chakli or it's a towel chorkyu preparation for chakli preparation machine and extrude it out. The next slide I show the chakli preparation machines which is available in almost all homes or it's available in all shops. It is very cheap. We need not go with the very costly noodle machines, costly equipments to make it as a stool. So after that, when it is extruded out, take it out in a drying tray, dry under sun or in the cabin dry at 50 degrees Celsius for 8 hours. So the mushroom noodles are ready. Pack it in an airtight container and it can be stored for 3 months. So these are the chakli machines. So it is also called as Muruku machine in Tamil or chakli in India, Indi. So it is very easily available in almost all homes. So the tub can be filled in and it can be extruded out and it can be, this kind of dye can be used to take it as a mushroom, that is noodles out and it can be stored out. This is another chakli machines very commonly available in all homes. This is old one. It can also be used to make noodles. This is a fortified noodles make it is. It can be dried and can be stored. The rusk is another choice. A set of mushroom cake. Here also you can mix with the 20% dry mushroom powder can be mixed with wheat flour and it can be made out it as a risk, fortified risk. Yes. And fortified biscuits. See here also 20% dry mushroom powder is mixed with the maida flour and the same process can be made as a set of other biscuits and it can be made as a biscuit. These are fortified mushroom biscuits. So these are all the some important mushroom value-added products. So a lot of products are available in other. So but some growers go with the mushrooms, the ketchups, mushroom sauces, and also mushroom. So one of the mushroom grower in Tamil Nadu, he come out with a mushroom ready-made A-team mushroom rusk. This also commercialized. Unfortunately, I could not able to put that photo in that slide. So these are all some important. In addition, we can also go with whatever the things commercially available, make it as a even you can go with the other dry products made out of these mushrooms. So I wish all the homemakers, all the participants, all the students and the others, commercial growers. So mushrooms can be value added and it can be kept for several months in addition to the fresh mushrooms and it can be stored for several months to years. So I'm wishing all the mushroom growers a very good success and also so the mushrooms are the widely medicinal. So mushrooms are called as Sarvaroga Nivarni. It cures almost all diseases. It can be very good food supplement to cure all diseases. So the medical history shows is if you take mushrooms twice a week, your body is completely immune, either fresh or as a validated products. So I wish all the participants good health with a mushroom. Have a mushroom with healthy life. Thank you. Thanks Dr. Sudarshanam and group and team for making this webinar a great success. Thank you one and all. Good day with the mushrooms. Thanks.
Doctor, for briefing about cultivation of mushrooms in coastal areas, especially Indonesia. Thank you. Thank you very much, Professor Dr. V. Prakasam, for enlightening us value-added production of mushrooms. Thank you very much, sir. We have Dr. Ardalan from Iran. He's going to talk about step-by-step cultivation of all kinds of mushrooms. Welcome, sir. Please deliver your talk now.
Hello, everybody. I'm Ardalan from Tehran. Thanks to Dr. Bhaskar and Society Venkateswara University in India. Thanks for having me. Today, I'm going to speak about urban farming, button mushroom, reishi mushroom growing, and that is very important in urban farming. It is very interesting to tell you 80% of equipment that we use in urban farming, such as saffron growing indoors, in button mushroom growing indoors, in leech farming, vertical cultivation, is the same. It means the facilities that we use in the urban farming, such as the mushroom growing, in the shiitake growing, maitake growing, saffron growing indoors, are similar. For example, the shelves, air conditioner, and aspirator, heater, chiller. These facilities are similar. And it's the good news for people, and for people like that during 1 year that have multi-cultivation during 1 year. My recommendation is always to my trainees that during 1 year that have a multi-cultivation. For example, during 1 year, reishi mushroom, button mushroom. You know that reishi mushroom tolerate hot weather, and button mushroom growing or button mushroom tolerate cold weather. It means that we can, in the winter, the people like cultivate the button mushroom can in the winter, for example, cultivate button mushroom, and during summer cultivate reishi mushroom. But it doesn't mean, because it in the industrial factories should have the facilities, should have the completed chiller. This is my recommendation for urban agriculture, for a small farm, because the people that live in the cities, in the big cities, doesn't access to big land, the factory, in the 50 square meters, 80 square meters, in 100 square meters can grow. It is my recommendation. Reishi mushroom takes 4 months, and the button mushroom takes 2 months. This is what is different. You know, I told you 80% of equipment that we use in the urban farming is the same. But what is different is growth period and the amount of environmental factors, such as humidity, carbon dioxide, temperature. You know, these are different. For example, in button mushroom takes 2 months. In the reishi mushroom takes 4 months. In button mushroom, first month temperature should be controlled 25 centigrade, and humidity should be controlled 75%. And the amount of carbon dioxide is around 4,000 or 5,000 ppm. And the second phase or second month, temperature should be controlled 19 centigrade. Amount of carbon dioxide is around 1,200 ppm. Humidity is around 85%. And the humidity, I told you, 80%. And the reishi mushroom, for example, in the first month, is temperature should be controlled 30 centigrade. Humidity is around 65%. And in the amount of carbon dioxide, in the first month is 5,000 ppm. In the next quarter of reishi mushroom, or 3 months, because it takes 4 months, first month and the next quarter of this period. First month is not, I'm not going, this is not so important, but it's very simple, controlling environmental, because we don't need to light, we don't need to control of carbon dioxide, because automatically these experience tell it is very simple, controlling of 4,000 ppm or 5,000 ppm. This is the storing, it's the first month. But in the next quarter, environmental factors very important, are very important, such as carbon dioxide amount of 700 ppm. It means we need high fresh air and temperature during this next quarter, 25 and 28 centigrade, and humidity is around 80%. And this time we need to light over 1,000 lux light during this. That reishi mushroom tolerate hot weather, as I told you, and botany mushroom tolerate cold weather. But the season, the region that is cold, my recommendation, cultivate botany mushroom, cultivate oyster mushroom, cultivate shiitake mushroom, cultivate king oyster mushroom. And is the warm weather, when during summer, and the region, for example, in south of Iran has a warm weather, or Africa, this is the warm weather, reishi mushroom is good option for cultivation. But urban agriculture or urban farming, what is difference? What is challenge is, I think because the countries such as Iran, such as India, because for example in country, because why? Because promoting, India is a big country. Because let me change my talk and speak about my Iran. This is why we shouldn't promote, why we are not in the first country in agriculture, compare with Australia, Netherlands. I think it's not, it's knowledge, is not the technology, it's not the sanction is important, money is important, but we should change attitude to agriculture. For example, for example, the machine that control carbon dioxide is, for example, in Iran is around, for example, $500. It's very expensive. My people doesn't accept that purchase this machine, because think with themselves, this is not necessary. And this is the amount of carbon dioxide is very important. That should, for example, take themselves is the, for example, roof exhaust is enough for controlling just the cooler. Using, for example, this common heater is enough for temperature. For example, botany mushroom, enough. For example, the first month is 25 centigrade, and the second month 20 or 19 centigrade is enough, and use the common heater, the common chiller, that is using in building. For example, 100, for example, 50, $100. I don't accept that pay, for example, 1,000. Doesn't accept purchase the air conditioner, a standard air conditioner. This is the air conditioner that has inverter, carbon dioxide sensor, engine damper. This is this attitude. This is not purchase. Is come back. The money come back. The money is very clear. For example, like me, I have 15 years experience in the botany mushroom. I have seen this wrong. 500 doesn't accept 500 at this in the future. $5,000 or $6,000. Loss. Let me again about the botany mushroom. We should, because this the main topic is the urban farming. As I told you, this is 80% is the same. For example, the shelves is the maybe use the wooden shelves is very wrong. It's the Many of the fungal diseases is the mite, red pepper, moth. Okay, and we should change the attitude. When we should change attitude, technology will come, money will come, the investor that good and interested to agriculture come to your country. For example, you should change, you should accept, you should know when we should the machine of carbon dioxide, where we should purchase the machine, for example, air conditioner. Okay, in the bottom mushroom, for example, these shelves, heater, chiller, air conditioner, plastic dog, many of them is so expensive, I accept. And I agree with you, air conditioner is so expensive. For example, a person in a city, in the rural region, for example, themselves is very expensive for me. $3,000 is so expensive. I am using a common heater that warm my building and replace in my farm at control 25 centigrade at the first month, at the 20 centigrade is the second phase. It's enough for me. But when asked about amount of harvesting, for example, tell me 20%. While the real amount of harvesting is 35%. Over 30%, you should harvest a button mushroom. This is, maybe it's okay, but the knowledge, for example, about the amount controlling carbon dioxide and light. This is knowledge. It's very important after we change my attitude. Knowledge tell you, for example, is not so expensive, is not expensive, for example, the situation, the wrong irrigation system, wrong aeration, for example, the situation of outlet valves, the situation window, Today, I would like to speak about button mushroom and reishi mushroom or Ganoderma and compare. In reishi mushroom is also, for example, in button mushroom, temperature is so important. High temperature tolerate cold air, tolerate cold weather, takes 2 months. It's not just controlling 25 with yourself, 25 centigrade, second month, 19 centigrade, enough. You should control the amount, you should control the speed of air in the plastic duct, you should continuously check the humidity of soil, For example, in the machine that you, for example, show you, 80% is enough. It's exactly not. There is over 1,000 points of the soil or in the compost that you should control. Continuously, you should check the compost, you should check the soil. When the machine show us, technology is good, sensor is good, carbon dioxide sensor is good, temperature sensor is good, you should trust, because in the factory with over 50 farm mushroom, the mushroom farm, the workers but is don't trust the machine that show you the amount of the humidity, the amount of temperature. You should continuously check with your eyes, with your hand. For example, humidity is very simple example. The machine, for example, in these people that work, the small, because this is a high technology factory, I'm sure that and careful in this controlling humidity and temperature. But in the small farm, 80 square meter and 100 square meter, the majority farmers that work is the 80 square meter and the 100 square meter. This is very common farm. Doesn't, for example, in the 80 square meter is the machine 80%, humidity is 80%. Okay, finish. And doesn't address to checking the humidity of soil, because the machine show them is 85% and the book wrote 85% is finished. Not. You should check the amount of carbon dioxide is also so important. For example, in the first month, carbon dioxide is around 5,000 ppm. Okay, is in the first month and 5,000 ppm, I think is not so hard controlling of amount of carbon dioxide. But in the second month, 100 in the button mushroom, I'm going to speak in button mushroom, control sometime in the pinning 1,200 1,000 ppm, after that 1,200 ppm, after that 1,500 ppm. You continuously check the amount of carbon dioxide. When you don't have the machine, how you can control the air? For example, the humidity you can check. You know, this is not so expensive. This is knowledge, okay? You should now, in that, you should not, it is your knowledge, okay? You should now please check the humidity, okay? But the temperature, for example, the thermometer is not so expensive, like carbon dioxide meter, the machine that show you carbon dioxide is so expensive. We don't have problem with thermometer and the humidity. Humidity is the with hand, but is also has a many problems about the controlling of humidity, because trust to the machine that showed them the humidity. You know, I told you there are over 1,000 points in the 80 square meter. It's a small square meter. You know, you should continuously check the compost, the first floor, third floor, second floors, in the humidity of the, for example, in the paper cover after casing soil, humidity case, before harvesting of mushroom. You know, that you should address in the amount of carbon dioxide, okay? And there is a big problem, amount of carbon dioxide. If I tell you the button mushroom growing and the air conditioner, the shelves, composting phase, one side, and the carbon dioxide is on other side. Control of carbon dioxide is so important. Controlling of carbon dioxide is so important. For example, when, for example, in the green mold, in the second month, when the green mold, for example, green mold, Hippomyces tertius, Burkholderia gladioli, Aspergillus, Penicillium, the main reason is compost, okay? It's very clear that the main reason is compost, coppernus. But the amount of carbon dioxide, if you don't care about the amount of carbon dioxide, aggravate all of these disease and disorder, aggravate, I promise, okay? But many times we need to knowledge, many times we should expend money for the machine that show you the amount of carbon dioxide. For example, you should know the purchase the machine that show you the amount of carbon dioxide. In the first month is not so important, 4,000 ppm and 5,000 ppm. And this, at the beginning of the second month or reproductive phase, the beginning of reproductive phase, we should reduce temperature and reduce amount of carbon dioxide. It's very important. It is the button mushroom, it means two factors. Reducing carbon dioxide to 1,200 ppm and reducing temperature to 19 centigrade, okay? And your money that you have spent for the machine and air conditioner. Air conditioner, you should expend air conditioner. Air conditioner can reduce your temperature. The fresh air of outside can reduce your temperature. Or in the summer, I'm not going to in summer. In the winter, for example, in the autumn, that the weather is very cool, is very good for 19 centigrade. And majority of people, I'm seeing that use the window, open the window for fresh water. And we will have perimeter, we will have the infection particle, window, okay, is window is okay. It's very, why we should purchase the air conditioner over $3,000, $1,000. Why? This is the heater, the common heater is the my home bring in my farm, okay? Is wrong. This is wrong, this is attitude. With them, okay, then, for example, in the common heater, and the autumn, I open my window and the fresh. It doesn't know about the amount of carbon dioxide. It doesn't the amount of humidity, temperature. It itself, because book has written in the first month is 25 centigrade and the second month in 19 centigrade. Okay, I can with the heater, I can with the, for example, the lighter. Okay, I can with the food for fire. Okay, firewood, and this is the amount of carbon dioxide. If you can control the amount of carbon dioxide in 1200 ppm, we can't see any mushroom. And all disease and disorder, that main reason is compost or soil. We have in the during growth period in the aggravating this disease and disorder. Okay, and this is attitude. This is not money. When you trust, for example, we should the pill. We should, for example, when buy a pill, when buy the healthy food. I know this is preventing to cancer. You should know the purchasing air conditioner standards, for example. What? For example, what do you meaning of the carbon dioxide? They doesn't know. Carbon dioxide is the completely closed in the first month. I close the window, and the second month I open the window. It's enough. This is the amount of carbon dioxide. And what is the meaning of the speed of air conditioner? The speed of air in the plastic duct, in the aeration channel. They don't know what is the speed. You know, the speed of the air in the plastic duct that should be, for example, at the maximum 9 meters per second. And during pinning should be 5 meters per second. You know, they don't. The amount of carbon dioxide, amount of harvesting, they don't know. For example, 1,500 ppm. This is not money. This is not the deficiency. This is my country. This is the, for example, I'm overdeveloped. This is not developed country. I live in the Africa because you know. But this factor, let's address to this factor. Okay, I told you takes months, 2 months first in the bottom mushroom, first month in the 25 centigrade, and the second phase is 19 centigrade. Okay, 25 after 2 weeks, all of the compost surface of compost is white, and we casing soil and soiling. After 2 weeks, all of the soil is the white, and the time is aeration, reducing temperature to 19 centigrade. Okay, it's good. How you can reduce this amount of temperature? With the air conditioner that have for example, a standards with 7,000 cubic meters, or a common heater, or a common chiller. For reducing temperature or increasing temperature, you open your window, you use a fresh water in the outside, or you use with air conditioners that has 3 damper. Circular damper, for example, the damper inside of air conditioner, the damper behind of the air conditioner, because this is the opposite, you know, all things. What is the size of Louvre's X house? They don't know. Just 50 meter by 50 meter window. You know, you should calculate. For example, in the 100 square meter, we can keep 20,000 kilogram of compost and 10,000 kilogram of compost. When asked them, I understood that both of them, for example, in the air conditioner with, for example, 4,000 cubic meters. They don't know that per 1,000 kilogram of compost needs 250 cubic meters of air. Not air that there is the outside. All of them, for example, in the summer, you need to reducing. Hello everybody. I'm Ardalan from Tehran. Thanks to doctors telling you about the capacity of the knowledge, you know, why we don't have the modern factory. I told you, maybe the money is not main reason, technology is not main reason, knowledge are so important, are so important. I'm not going to is not important money, but we should change attitude of this process of button mushroom in the urban farming, because I told you at the first is webinar, 80% of equipment in the urban farming is the same. That the shelves, air conditioners, heater, chiller. That when I speak about the button mushroom, when I'm speaking about the button mushroom, is the reishi mushroom growing is true for king oyster mushroom growing, saffron growing, those all of them is correct. For example, ask of them, for example, what is in the we are in the autumn and is finished. It's that a button mushroom takes 2 months. First month 25 centigrade, and the second month is 20. We should control temperature 19 centigrade. It's finished, and you irrigate the surface of compost or the surface of soil, and they don't. How we can control the amount of the factors of the characteristics of compost? This is we suppose that compost is great, okay? If the first compost is so important. We suppose compost is great, soil is great. I'm speaking about ourselves, attitude, and the points. It's so important. For example, in the autumn, in the cold summer, in the region that is very cold, and with the second month and the reproductive phase, the phase that we should reduce the temperature, we should reduce the amount of carbon dioxide, and this open window. This is very clear. It happens that we are going to occur for my compost, for my farm. As I told you, perimeter is very important. You should use the capacity of your chiller. You should have the chiller for cooling, for cold, for example, reducing temperature in the summer. You should have during winter in the boiler. The process is very clear. This is the boiler, warm water converted, the air conditioner converted warm water of the boiler to the warm air, and the engine off. That is, we have to kind of